Alrighty. So if you've been anywhere near the stock market this week, you probably noticed that things got a little bit ugly. We got $1 trillion essentially wiped out. That's trillion with a T in big tech single week. Palantir down 13% in a day. AMD down 18% in the day, despite crushing earnings. We're talking some stocks 70% year over year growth, and the stock getting completely hammered. And now you've got headlines essentially on CNBC everywhere screaming AI bubble, the crash is here, all that doom and gloom stuff that we see all the time. But here's the thing, and here's why I wanted to actually make this video. I don't think people or the market is reacting to what people think it's reacting to. And if you understand what's actually happening here, you're going to see an opportunity that I think most people are going to completely miss here. And because I genuinely believe we are living through one of the kind of rare moments in history where the future is being built right in front of us. And most people honestly are just too scared to see it. So let me break this down. If this kind of analysis helps you think about the market differently, hit subscribe. You won't get this angle anywhere else. So here's where we currently are, right? And what happened this week. First, the numbers, right? According to CNBC, over $1 trillion in market cap essentially got wiped out from big tech this week. Amazon took the biggest hit. Microsoft, Google, Meta all got smacked. Palantir, which just reported 70% year over year growth, by the way, dropped, like I said, 13%. $40 billion in market cap gone, just like that. And then you had people like Anthropic, right? The company behind Claude, dropping new models with AI this week and somehow triggered a massive sell-off also in software stocks. People are now essentially calling it like the AI software apocalypse. And then on top of this, January layoffs were 108,000. It's the highest since 2009. You've got people looking at all of this and going, okay, this is it. The AI bubble is popping. It's time to get out. But here's where I think they're actually completely fundamentally wrong on essentially all of this. The real reason, I want to be really clear about this. This is not fear of AI. This is fear of something very specific. It's the fear of capital intensity. Let me explain what I mean by that. So the big four, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, aka Google, Meta, they announced that they're essentially the combined AI capital expenditure, CapEx, for 2026 is going to be somewhere between $650 to $700 billion in a single year on AI infrastructure. And so the market looks at this and goes, okay, when do we exactly see a return on this? And do we actually see a return on this? Because here's the thing, these companies are spending money like it's going out of style, but investors are starting to ask this question, where is the ROI? So when does this spending actually turn into earnings? And so Amazon got hit really hard this week because they were the most aggressive with their guidance. They basically said, we're going to spend whatever it takes. And the market said, yeah, there's no way that we're appreciating that. And so Palantir also dropped despite great earnings. PE ratio was like 250. You guys I don't like the PE ratio much, but their expectations were priced in. And in the market, that's suddenly demanding profitability over growth. That is a problem. We've seen it with stocks like our Tesla. So the narrative shifted and it went from, hey, AI is the future, buy everything, to, okay, but who's actually making the money here? And that is a fair question to ask. And it's a reasonable thing for the market to ask, but I think it's missing the bigger picture that I think you and I should be more privy to. Here's where I want to zoom out, like way out, because what I think a lot of investors are missing right now, especially the ones panic selling, is that we're living through what might be the single greatest wealth creation opportunity in our lifetimes. And I'm not trying to actually be too hyperbolic with it. I know it does sound like it, but let me explain. Think about the last time a technology fundamentally rewrote how the world works. Probably the internet, right? Late 90s, early 2000s, the internet changed everything. E-commerce, social media, cloud computing, all of that came from the internet. So if you had bought Amazon in 2001, after that .com crash, when everyone was screaming bubble, it's over, you'd be up something like 200% or 200 times today, right? 200 times your money. Or like even think about mobile. Like the iPhone came out, smartphones, in 2007. People just thought it was a toy, fancy iPod, remember those iPod touches? And then it created entire industries. Uber, Instagram, Airbnb, like none of this exists without the phone, the smartphone, mobile. So now think about AI, right? In the last 2 years, just 2 years, we went from ChatGPT essentially being a novelty to AI writing code fully now, and companies like Anthropic saying that their engineers are not even writing code anymore. FSD with Tesla driving cars autonomously. It's composing music that's actually hitting billboards, top billboard charts, and essentially running entire business workflows now at this point. So it is reasoning, planning, executing, doing all the multi-step tasks. That's what I help business owners with. I help them do AI workflows, and I'm seeing it from my perspective where it is doing everything for them. So this is not hype. It's not speculation. It's happening right now. And so here's the thing that really gets me, right? The people who built, if you look back, generational wealth from the internet and mobile, they weren't the ones who timed the market perfectly, right? They were the ones who actually understood, okay, this is the magnitude of what's actually happening. And they had the conviction to hold through all of that volatility, because there's always volatility. There's always a week like today, like there was last year with DeepSeek, where everything crashes, people panic. The dot-com bubble, if you think about it, wiped out trillions, right? The 2008 crisis almost broke the entire system. We know this. And then COVID crashed. We don't have to talk about that. Matter of weeks, we were down like 30 or 40%. So every single time, even people who understood the underlying trend, right, would panic sell. But there'd be a group of people that wouldn't flinch. And those are the people that came out ahead. Okay? So when I look at this week's sell-off, I don't see a bubble popping. I see the market actually doing what it does. It's overreacting to short-term noise while the long-term trend remains completely intact right now. AI is going to transform literally everything. Healthcare, transportation, manufacturing, education, entertainment, finance, everything we touch. And we are in the first inning of this, maybe even the first pitch. The question isn't now, okay, is AI real? The question is, do you have the conviction to hold through weeks like this? That is the real question at the moment. And so let me just bring it back to what's actually happening right now. The market is punishing these companies for spending, but think about what that actually means. It means the market is punishing companies for investing in the most transformative technology since electricity, for building this infrastructure that's going to power the next century of our economic growth. Sounds crazy, but hopefully that makes sense to you. Let me know in the comments if it does. Because look, I get it. As an investor, you and I, we want to see returns. We also want to see profitability, by the way. And some of these AI companies, I will be clear, are overvalued. Some of them are overspending without clear paths to monetization at all. So you do have to be able to separate the signal from the noise here. But when you still look at stocks like NVIDIA makes the chips that power every single AI data center on the planet. They're not hoping AI works out. They're printing money from it. Record revenues, insane margins, real, actual, tangible profits from AI. And the stock traded down this week because AI is crashing and whatever else. But does that make sense? Look at Google. They've baked AI into everything. Search, cloud, Google Workspace, everything. Their entire product suite. They have billions of users. Actual AI revenue today, not someday. And then, of course, Tesla. Like Tesla has millions of cars on the road, collecting real world data, training these neural nets for autonomous driving. They're launching unsupervised. They're starting to scale. They're not spending $100 billion in speculative data centers. They're building AI products that people buy. And then AMD, I love AMD, like carving out real market share for inference against companies like NVIDIA. And so there are companies in this that aren't just hoping AI works. They're actually benefiting from it. And the market, I think, is throwing the baby out with the bathwater because it's scared of the CapEx headlines. And so I look at this as an opportunity. That's what opportunity looks like to me. So if you're watching this and you're wondering what to do with this information, let me give you just a little framework. Because not every AI stock is a buy. Some of them are overvalued, like I said, and some of them are going to burn cash with no profitability in sight. So you have to be selective during this time. It's not just a blanket time to buy everything. So here's what I personally look for. First, is AI a product or an expense? Because there's a massive difference between companies that are spending billions on AI hoping it pays off versus companies that are already generating revenue from it. So follow the money, the actual money, not projected money from streams that exist today. Second, infrastructure always wins, in my opinion. During this gold rush, I guess if you even go back to the California gold rush, the people who got rich weren't the miners. There was ones who were selling pickaxes and shovels. In AI, that analogy applies. That's the chip companies, NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, even Google with their TPUs. They win regardless of which software company comes out on top. Third, vertical integration to me matters. Companies that control their own data, their own chips, their own manufacturing, they have these structural advantages that pure software plays do not have. They're harder to disrupt and they capture more of the value chain. Tesla, they own the entire pipeline. It goes back to my SpaceX XAI video. Fourth, valuation still matters despite all of this, right? Even if a company is going to win AI, if it's priced for perfection at 20 trillion today, like there's no margin for safety. So Palantir might be a great company, but at whatever it's trading at right now, one bad quarter will crater the stock. And you saw that this week, right? So be selective on pricing. Fifth, and this is probably the most important, you have to have a time horizon. And I get comments about this all the time. People saying, yeah, this is great, but I've been waiting on Tesla. It's been flat for the last 3 years. What's going on? Are we ever going to see a return on the stock? And it's tough because it's like, hey, look, yes, Tesla is a great company, but does stuff like AI is not going to play out in the next 2 months. It's going to take some time. If you're trading AI stocks week to week, like you're probably going to get chopped up. The volatility is insane. But if you're investing on a 3, 5 year, 10-year horizon, these weeks don't matter, right? Unless you're trading with options, which sometimes I do. What matters is whether you're right about the long-term trend. That's what matters. Okay. And so the bottom line is this. Let me just bring it all together. This week, the market freaked out about AI, $1 trillion gone, headlines screamed about bubbles, crash, blah, 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 end of the AI trade. And so I'm sitting here thinking we are so early. We're so unbelievably early in this thing. It's almost funny. We're arguing about quarterly CapEx numbers while the entire structure of work with Claude Code and Claude Cowork and Opus 4.6 and life is literally being rewritten by AI right now and artificial intelligence. So 20 years from now, people are going to look back at our years of 2025, 6, 27 and say, man, that was the moment. That was the moment where AI actually went from tech to the tech. Like that was the window. And most people are going to completely miss it. They're going to be too busy watching red candles on a screen, which I love doing, as you guys know, to see what was actually happening. And so I can't tell you, and I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm an idiot on YouTube. But I'm telling you, pay attention. Don't let short-term noise distract you from this long-term signal that we're in. We're living through one of the most rare moments in history, I think. We're very lucky that we're living through it. And the people who recognize it, who have the conviction to act on it, and stay true to the long-term thesis, I think are going to be very glad that they did. So that's my take on AI crash this week. I don't think it's a crash. I think it's a buying opportunity disguised as this big crisis. It's the market giving you a chance to get into generational trends at a discount. But you have to be able to see past the fear, have to be able to zoom out, and you have to have conviction in where this is all going. Anyways, follow me on X. It's at HeyIt'sYashu for real-time takes between my videos. I'm always posting there if you want to see how stuff folds out. And if you think this video has helped in terms of helping you think differently, hit subscribe. I do this kind of deep dive content all the time. I'd love to have more feedback and more importantly, you along for the ride. So Yashu catching you on the next one. Peace out.